Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today what I'm working on is we got a new pump sent to us from a company called Vivor, and I'm sure everybody's seen them on Facebook and on the internet. You know, they sell all kinds of stuff, but anyway, they sent us a pump to try out for our water transfer on our water systems, where we haul water in a tank and then we transfer it into our cabins, into the holding tanks that we have. So everything's still snow covered outside today, so I'm gonna do this here on my floor. But I already had this thing out of the box once to determine what kind of fittings I needed, and wound up having to go to town and get a couple fittings. But this pump wasn't it did have foam inserts and all that in here, but and this thing comes in a super heavy duty box. I mean a really heavy box. So anyway, package really good. Has a one inch threads in it, and I kind of done a little prep work here to try not to drag it out too long for a couple of fittings, and get these fittings in here because most everything we have is set up for 3/4 inch NPT, and this has 1 inch threads in it, so it should be a pretty high volume pump. Let's see here. This should be the inlet up here, I believe, if I'm thinking correctly. I probably should have looked at that first, but I'm going to give it a quick look here, so I know for sure. I was wrong. This is the inlet right here, so that'll be the one we screw this onto, and this other end of this hose here will connect to the tank that's in the back of my pickup, and then this one here will be the discharge that actually goes to the cabins. So I'm anxious to try this out. It looks like it ought to be a pretty high volume pump. So our tank that we transfer water in holds 250 gallons, so I only have a 55-gallon barrel here at my house. You might be able to see it in the picture there. Tyler has a 110-gallon tank, and Prairie has a 110-gallon tank, so the 250-gallon tank pretty much does what we need to do for now. Maybe we'll get a well here sometime, but in the meantime, we have to pump our haul water. So, but we only have to do it every couple of weeks, so it's not that big of a deal. But that, put this one here to tighten this with. I'll be careful, I don't want to break those off. It'd be easier if I tip it on its side, maybe. There we go. Maybe everybody hasn't seen pipe wrenches like this one here, but this is made by Snap-on, but it's a pretty cool, pretty handy little wrench. And get these tight enough that it won't leak around them. More so the one on the suction side, you want for sure want to not have any air leaks in it. But we put these quick connects on our fittings, that makes it pretty nice to be able to plug up to, and they just kind of stick in there like that, snap the ears back down. You're ready to go whenever you connect it up, so we'll have one on each end of that. So, but I think this thing here is going to be a really good pump. This is a full 7 amps. I'm not sure what the GPM is on this pump. Look here and see though. But it's actually a jet pump for a shallow well. It's actually what it's made for. Well, maximum head, which means the as high as it's supposed to push, is 40 meters. So that would push water pretty high in the air if you had to push it up a pipe. maximum suction depth is 7 meters, so you know, about 21 feet deep on a well is about what it would do. So they also have a bigger pump than this one too, but you don't really say what the volume is that it pumps, but I'm guessing by the size of that pump head that it's pretty significant, would be my guess. So I'm anxious to try that out. So that'll be the next thing we do is I gotta go get a tank of water, and then we'll be transferring that to the cabins, and we'll video that so you can see how that works too. And we'll do that. We'll do a short one at all 3 cabins so you can kind of see our hookups at each cabin. So I'll show you that. All right. I promised I was going to show you what it took to put water in the cabins. Let me grab my shovel. Okay, fortunately we've had the snow melt off quite a little bit, but we got that last foot or so. I slid off the house here, I made a mess. Next year, I'm going to have that coming out the back. All right, so I wanted to show you more of this Vevor pump. And the other day I showed you putting the fittings and stuff in it. I had my head cut off in that video, I noticed that. Must have been because of bad hair day or something, I reckon. All right, so we're going to plug up to the tank. I'll put a link in the description too about this pump and where you can get it and all that. So then these pumps have to be primed. So if you had it on a well, then it would have a check valve in it so it wouldn't lose its prime. But here we just turn the tank on, fill it up with water. Fill it up till the water comes out of it. And once we've done that, you know, then we're ready to put the hose on it. And hook it up to the cabin. Got that. Get the hose cord out here. So I can hook it all up in one climb up over the snowbank here. Let's see here. I might have had it turned off, but now it's pumping. So in my cabin, I have a 55-gallon tank. So we'll fill it, and then we'll go down to Tyler's, and he has a 110-gallon tank. We'll fill it, and then we'll go on up to Prairies and fill his. And he also has a 110-gallon tank. That's all it is. I put the little quick connect fittings on it, makes it a bit easier to hook up. Get a flexible suction hose here. And I know this pump will put out a lot more if we had a bigger suction hose on it, but everything we have is already set up for 3/4 inch. So that's just what I put back in this. But this pump here would actually pump a lot more if it was set up properly. But it's a nice pump. It's quiet. Got a nice little bracket on here for it to set on. I I like it. Way quieter than the pump I had before. And the one I had before didn't have a nice little bracket on it. All that either, so I like that. Makes it nice because we usually just leave the pump and everything in the truck with the water tank. Just dump the water out of it in the winter time. Summertime means you leave it hooked up to the tank is not a big deal, but in the winter time you don't want anything to freeze and bust. And, we definitely have a lot of temperatures like that here, so we don't want that to happen. It won't take long to fill mine up, but it makes mine feel a little bit slower as I have the fittings in my hoses inside are real small. They're only like, half-inch diameter fittings in there, so that makes mine feel a little slower. But I'm going to redo all that whenever I move this stuff here to the back of the house, and I add on to the back of the cabin this summer. So when I do that, I'll move all this water fill stuff back to that end. Pull up. And I just shut that off, climb up here and unhook all this. Back when I installed all that, I thought, man, that's really going to be easy to get to right there. And it is during the summertime. But I didn't take into account snow sliding off my roof and making a big mess right here to get to. So I'll definitely have to do some changing on that. All right. Now we're at Tyler's house. Pump back out here. I'll get the pump. This is a little bit easier here to get to, at least is inside the carport. But do have to watch the top on the camper shell. I usually keep it closed because I've almost backed into the door with it twice, and Tyler did once. And of course, you back into it, then it breaks the back lights out and all that kind of stuff. And then you're a mess. Then you got no more door on the camper shell. All right, so we're all hooked up. Put the pump on, turn the water on the tank. Put the pump on. Good to go. You always want to feel of the vent. Make sure the tank's venting. So you hate to wind up having the vent plugged up and bust the tank inside the house when you're out here and you wouldn't even know what happened. So always got to remember to do that. So the tank's filled from outside, and then they have a vent that also runs back outside. That way, whenever the tank gets full, you'll see water shooting out the vent, just like it did on mine up there at the house a while ago. And then when it does that, then we'll go on to the next one. It takes a little bit longer to fill since it is a little bit bigger tank. So. I do think on this top fitting here, I think I'll wind up putting an elbow on that so the hose isn't in a pinch like that. But yeah, this is nice. The other pump we had before was so noisy that you couldn't even hear the top over it. I don't even know if I could record anything with it running. It was so loud. This is nice and quiet. I like that. This is like from a company called Vivor. You see them posted all over the internet, Facebook, and all that kind of stuff. So really a nice product. Got an off and on switch on it. Slick. I'm wearing my buddy's hoodie today too. You see the back over there. Well, that's the Argo Rentals. So you're ever in Alaska and you need to rent an Argo, that's the guy to call up there. He's in Wasilla, Alaska. Nice day today. It must be in the 40s, I'm guessing. This night, the snow's melting. The road is starting to get a little bit muddy. It will, just got to be mud on top. It won't be too bad. But we're definitely seeing a lot of slush right now, so keeps up the temperatures we've been seeing for the last couple of weeks. You definitely see it all gone on the driveways and stuff like that. It'll probably all be gone in the next week. But these 5-foot deep areas, they're going to take a little bit longer. They'll probably be a month getting the most of that off there, I would imagine. And the nice thing, the way our tanks are set up to fill is like right now, Tyler's not even home, so it makes it pretty nice to be able to, when one guy goes to town, he gets water to come back and fill the others, because during the winter time, you can't wait. You got to get the tank emptied back out before it freezes up. So, the whole tank wouldn't freeze, but the valve and stuff that sticks out of the tank will freeze, and you can't get it turned back on again. So, and that, of course, it would freeze solid if you left it set to go long, especially if it's 20 below zero. So that's what makes it nice when you come back. You don't even have to go to the door. You just back up and start filling the tanks up. This is a nice little carport thing here that we did at Tyler's house, so makes it kind of nice. There's a place to park his razor inside. Got some windows on the other end. Gives him a place to keep his snow blower, all that. You got a tarp on the door out here you can roll down, and that way you can roll it down from up here. Kind of close it up, put a heater in there. It does make for a place during the winter time that you can actually heat, which is really nice, so we do like that. All right, this is full. Once that's full, then get the tank off. Forward, dump back in the truck. All right. Got that one done. Now ready to go to the next one. All right, so now we're up at Prairie's cabin.
What's the matter, Molly? What's the matter, Molly? Yeah, Molly come out to see me, didn't she? Yeah.
All right, so we're all hooked up. Turn the water on. We'll run his for a little bit. Get that going. Now we're waiting on it to fill up. We'll show you around a little bit here. You can still see we got plenty of snow. Now those piles way back there in the back, those actually have some brush under them. But all this you see, the piles out in front of that, that's nothing but snow. So we pushed it up there with the razor, and same way that direction there, so it's all snow. But it is melting. You can see how it's getting really soft, and even driving around here, it's getting kind of hard to go through today where it's warm and turning into slush. So, but you can see his, place here where we put the water in. We put a plug in there to plug up to it. And we've got a couple of water jugs there, so if there's any water left, we usually back over a hump right over here where it's downhill, and drain the tank out best we can. So whatever water is left, we'll save it in cans too, so that way we got some extra water if we need it. Now we got the tank full, filled up the 2 cans. Back up here, we'll empty out the hose. We got a little place here in the truck where we hang up the hose. And over the cord, we'll roll the cord back up. Not too bad when it's warm, but when it's cold, this cord gets fairly stiff, and this is actually one of them extreme temperature cords, so not nearly as bad as most of them when it's really cold, but still kind of pain. Then we always take the pump, hold it up. Always make sure we dump out everything that will come out of it. Always take the hose, connect it back to it like that. That way it stays nice and clean. Nothing can get inside the pump. And I'll just let it sit here till it finishes draining out. I need to change where our fitting is in the bottom of the tank. We have that one down as low as you can get it, but it still always holds some when we're emptying out on level ground up there. So I think this summer we're going to try to put a fitting in the very bottom of that tank and then come out of that with an elbow. Be able to drain the tank down even better than we do right now. So anyway, that's kind of how we fill our water tanks here at the off-grid cabins in Alaska. You can also see by Prairie's house where the snow slides off of his, how much is still left there. So anyway, there you go. Another thing I wanted to show was the front of the cabin here. You remember when Kurt was out here at the end of February, 1st of March. Remember we was shoveling off the grill? Well, now you can see how much has melted. You actually see some gravel. That's pretty awesome right there, ain't it? And then here, this is actually my drainage ditch that goes through the berm. And it's all dirty here because I've thrown ashes on it, trying to make it melt, so you can see the difference in how fast ashes make it melt. So trying to make sure that's going to be clear by the time all this snow melts and starts running off, because right here is where it's going to come to. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at in the great state of Alaska. You can see some snow's trying to slide off my shed. That stuff's melting down. I can't believe how much is melted off of it, but bare gravel. Starting to see that.